The one thing that was confirmed to me today is that I'm Chicago forever. To the dirt. I'm Chicago first until I die. Always rep, always love for Chicago. Always. That's one thing that was confirmed in me. Like, you know how you know something's in you, but it hasn't been tested in a while?
Mm-hmm.
It got tested today. And so for me, I was like, that's what's up. Drunk Vigo said, I'm Onora until I die. That's what's up. Oh, man, what's up, LL Nation? As always, featuring and brought to you by Onora Whisky. OnoraWhisky.com is that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhisky.com. And if you're going to drink, make sure you do it responsibly. And you might as well drink Onora Whiskey because Marcus Freeman does. There's no better reason than to drink the same whiskey that eases his mind after a day of practice, film sessions, and meetings. You can see Marcus Freeman right there in the goo, laying back in his chair or at home in his bar. And he just detoxes with a nice sip of Onora whiskey.
It inspires him.
It's inspiring. It's definitely. Robin Dennis, thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate it so much. It's actually not Drunk Vigo. It's like it's really not hard to make him laugh. It's just like he gets in a mode, like he's definitely in Jedi mode right now. Let's get to it, bro. It's a lot to talk about. Some things you did not get an opportunity to touch on last night with the technical difficulties, and I'll give you an opportunity to do so. Marcus Freeman, and he talked about Al Golden and what he means. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because it seems to be a common theme, like with everyone that is. Can I put a challenge out there? Is that okay, bro?
Put a challenge out there.
Can I put it, and this is just all over. Can I put a challenge out there to people in the media to ask better questions?
No, don't tell them that. Don't tell them that.
Like, be creative.
Don't tell them that.
Be creative. I don't care if you ask, do they prefer buffed or clear polish on their nails? I don't care if that's the question. At least ask something different.
At least
ask something different. When you get a pedicure, do you just tell them to buff the toenail out, or do you actually put clear polish on there?
No, that's right.
You know, it's no wrong answer, but I'm interested in knowing. I'm just interested in knowing.
We are interested in knowing, that's for sure. Yeah.
That's the challenge I want to put out there. Just the media overall. I want to make sure overall, everywhere, be creative.
And you know, some people, I think a lot of times you get stuck in the consistency of doing it for a while. I think we've experienced that as a fan base to where you lose some creativity because you think the routine is going to get you progressed to the next level. And sometimes when it passes about 5 years, you might got to switch it up to inspire some more creativity. So if you asking guys questions for a long time, and then you get to a certain point where you feeling out of touch, maybe you got to ask better questions.
Man, shout out to Mano. He's a wild boy, man. I don't really want to get into the topic. There's some wild boys out here. It's been a rough week for the wild boys. Mano, on with Angela Yee. You got your boy Cam Newton getting drugged up and down social media. And honestly, watching the full interview in context.
Oh, Cam's?
Yeah.
It is. He didn't. Come on now. He didn't say nothing crazy. Come on.
Yeah. I don't see the uproar, but I should have known, considering the source of the people that were lashing out. If I had really considered the people that were lashing out, it would have been an indicator to say, okay, it's really not what everybody is saying. That's all. Sometimes you gotta have context, right? You gotta have context. You have to listen. I don't think people are really good listeners.
Mm-mm.
No one wants to listen. Everyone is quick to get their point across. See, I listen. I was taught mom, education, administration, father, ministry, leadership, politics. It's like, yo, it's always taught to listen. Always taught to listen. My father said you can always learn more listening to people.
That's right.
Just sit in the room and observe and listen. It's a lot you can learn. And I always took that. So that's my challenge, man. Don't always try to be first. Don't always try to be the one. Just listen. If you listen, you might get the opportunity to actually ask a different question and actually put out some information that's really not regurgitated over and over again.
But that takes a focus. You know, if you ain't intentionally working hard on understanding or care about the thing that you're talking about, generalizing makes it a lot easier for you because you can get it done.
Right.
But you dealing with, especially people,
yeah,
you got to care about the subject enough to even be thinking creatively to ask better questions. If you just trying to answer things that you checking off the list, I mean, what you expect?
Man, you know what? That's keeping it a buck and staying right there. Like for you, as a former athlete, how frustrating is it for you to deal with the same question over and over and over again?
Well, you just start to think that sometimes it's more when you get questions like that, you think that there's a read between the lines there. You know, what are you trying to get me to say? If it's not just the obvious good, bad, or indifferent, I think a lot of times you got to stay away from the yes or no questions.
Mm.
And I think as an athlete or just anybody, you get asked enough yes or no questions, even if you're in your relationship.
Yeah.
You asked enough yes or no questions, you're gonna be upset after a while. Come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
you worry about
Yeah.
good cop, bad cop, or something.
Yeah.
So it just applies to the less yes and no's and more, and even shorten the question, leave it kind of open ended. Just kind of have it hanging out there. I think it makes better.
You know, when that question comes and you're like, what's the purpose of this question?
Yeah.
Like, why are you asking me this?
Because the yes and no's always got to have some context after it, because they'll be real directed in a way. You be like, wait a minute, I'm not about to say yes or no to this.
Right.
This is clearly implicating me into something that I'm not agreeing to.
Like, dude, this is out of left field. It has nothing to do with the flow of this day.
Yeah, where is this? I don't understand the yes or no to this one. I don't know.
And it's like, come on, but no, seriously, man. We just it makes for better content. And this is one of my rules, right? And we'll get to the cornerbacks, Mike Mickens and Al Golden in the defense, and Notre Dame embracing the physicality that Ed Orgeron talked about yesterday. I definitely want to get to that. This is why my rule is I don't tweet during games. Like if you watch, I won't tweet during a Notre Dame game. I'm not about to tweet during a Chicago Bulls game, Chicago White. It's like, why, dude? I see like thousands of people literally tweeting out the same thing. Like tweeting out the same thing. Like such and so with the home run. Such and so. Like I understand if you're there reporting, cool. But if you're just like a regular person, like if you're watching a game and you feel like you have to tweet out what happened, such and so just hit a homer. It's like, oh, okay. You know, that was a nice run, nice cutback. That's Tyler Buckner right there on the RPO. Oh, okay. Like,
see,
a tweet should have meaning.
Yes,
it should
a
have
point
meaning
in the game, a tipping point in the game. Something has to sway a certain way where you're like, this is going to bite the team back?
Yes.
Later in the game, when it comes up, you'd be like, I said it was going to bite the team right there.
Right.
Or they got to come back to that play or something like, can't just be tweeting as you watching because those are armchair quarterbacks. I think as a fan base, we should work on not becoming armchair quarterbacks.
That too. That's a good point. Let's see. Side note, watching kickoff return videos from today kind of giving me the feels we actually going to have some returns this year. I mean, kickoff returns have been pretty Chris Tyree has been exciting on kickoff returns. It's punt returns that have really been kind of like fair catch you-ish.
We lack in that. It's crazy that we lack in that department to be a top tier program.
Yeah. Just
because it's like where's the effort? Can we get a somebody try? I love the fact that we like to be an inclusive team and giving guys chances and stuff. But man, can we attempt to get a great return? I remember we had Greg Bryant back there, Amir Carlisle back there, CJ Sanders. Now we putting guys that like rigatoni or something with some pasta's name in the last name in there. And it's like, where is he from? That's not one of the recruits we talk about on every day. We need some guys that we're seeing on the offense or defensive side getting back there. More production.
Yeah, I agree. And it's exciting to see, the youngsters getting a shot, even though they're probably going to go with guys like Chris Tyree, Braden Lindsey getting that opportunity. No, Terry Howie, I do not. Look, man. No, I want somebody back there that can make somebody miss and that can run.
Yeah. Let's get shoot.
I just don't understand why other programs can put.
Why don't we put Braden Lindsey back there?
You can put a true freshman back there with no problem. We see true freshmen like returning kicks on kickoff, no problem. No problem, man. And we used to do that, right? Because you guys had, you know what I'm talking about, Baby Ray.
Yeah, CJ
Sanders. That was his thing as a freshman.
Devontae Neal. That was his thing as a freshman.
Atkinson as a freshman. Is he on kickoff returns? So
Fink was back there for a hot second.
Fink was.
He had a couple, good ones.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So let me tell you something, man. The direction that Notre Dame is going in, that's what we talked about yesterday. Buy stock in Notre Dame now. Because this might be the lowest price it's at in the next 5 years. Don't
buy the dip. Buy the dip.
Yeah, don't wait any longer. Get in on the ground floor or get in on this level and enjoy the ride. Absolutely enjoy the ride. GA3 returned kickoffs? Did he return punts too? I know he returned kickoffs. I don't know if he returned punts.
Greg Bryant, yeah, he returned kicks.
GB did. Yeah.
So we used to put some guys back there for a second.
Yeah. So let's get to some of the stuff that you missed on yesterday. And it's funny. Before we get to, let me just show you this clip because it's funny. And people joined in. It actually was part of the Petty Train. But what do you think about this? If this was your son in Little League, what are you saying to him when he crosses home plate?
Look around, stay low, make sure they don't see you.
What type of dad are you, Malik?
I'm probably dancing with him.
Huh?
I'm dancing with him, straight up.
You hitting the gritty with him?
Got to. Hit the home run, absolutely.
Yeah, man. That's what I love to see. And so, that really for me leads me to talk about what other people see in Notre Dame outside of Notre Dame, right? Like it's easy for people to be high on Notre Dame. We talked about the stock, buying the stock. But the one thing that needs to really get to the front is why are we buying the stock? Physicality. We talked about that, right? Just be physicality. Coaching staff. Talent. Recruiting. But what's wrong with just knowing that it's that time? Right? Let me allow me to give scripture for a second because it's something that I truly believe in. And there's a scripture that says, time and season happens to us all. And you have to be prepared when that time and when that opportunity comes. Now, I believe when you're big on preparation, then you'll always be prepared. Like you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And this is what I see happening when I say TTC with this coaching staff. And this is something Ed Orgeron pointed out yesterday. And this is a clip you missed. This is Ed Orgeron after practice talking to the Notre Dame squad. For those of you that missed it, that didn't see yesterday's show.
What a tremendous university you have here. What a great coach and what a great coaching staff you have. Some of the best players in the country are right here in this group. I don't know when it's going to happen. But with this staff, this team, y'all going to win it all. You're going to pick up the truth. All right, when it's going to happen, I don't know. I can't tell you that. How bad do you want it? You don't have to wait for it. Why somebody else needs to be better than you? I'll tell you what. Physicality, use it. There's other team spirit. Use it. Okay? Good luck to you guys. Hey, I know you got a lot of things to do. Coach, thanks for letting me talk to this team. I am fired up. I can't wait to see you guys play. I'm going to be pulling for you guys. But remember this. This is your team. This is your brother. You fight for it. Thank you.
You didn't get a chance to respond to it yesterday, but your thoughts about what Ed Orgeron had to say.
Yeah, I mean, it is at the end of the day your team, man. I just think that's just the most important part to remember as the players go out this season is just the guys next to you are the guys that are going to make it happen, and the coaches are going to try to do their best to set you guys up for success. But y'all gotta know that the left and right are what's going to get it done, not any drill coach is going to show you, not any speech. It's going to be the guys that are hand in the dirt with you that's going to get the job done. So it's important, too, to see a national championship coach coming back and having respect for your coach. I think that's pretty interesting. I mean, a first-year head coach pulling in a guy who just came off a national championship, not a old guy that just hangs around going different schools and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Ed Orgeron just got done in the near future that people can remember a historic national championship run. So for him to come back and say, oh, we got it next, it's almost like the passing of the torch to the young coach and Marcus Freeman. But to have that much cachet to pull a guy all the way to South Bend, Indiana that had a lot of success where he was at, it just shows a lot of credit to what Marcus Freeman is trying to build in terms of a perception.
Lucky Lefty podcast, the original Lucky Lefty himself. Overtime Malik, I'm Shaun Davis at SD2 Mics. What jumped out to me, he talked about physicality. He pretty much said they're going to win a national championship. But then he talked about, stop thinking, not that Notre Dame players would think, but definitely people outside the program always think about this big dip in talent. when it comes to like Clemson and Alabama and Georgia and Notre Dame. I point back to the confidence you had in 2015. There was no team in the country fully healthy that you guys feared from a talent standpoint.
No, we wanted the Alabamas and who at the time? It was really them. I mean, we really thought we were the team to beat going in. Considering all factors, we just felt like this was, like I said, it came down to we knowing that we had guys that individually had great success on the horizon and draft spots and awards. So we figured if y'all the best in y'all position and we haven't started yet, I mean, we can't get much better than this if we see y'all every day in practice. So it gave us the confidence of the team, and I mean, we hit the ground running.
So, look, I know after the Fiesta Bowl, everybody was a little bit upset. Second half didn't go well. And there was a certain individual that drew a lot of the ire from the fan base. And some might say deservedly so. I was very pleased with how his coach immediately set the tone for his redemption for the upcoming season by the things that he said in the Fiesta Bowl post presser. But even more than that, ultimately it's going to come down to that individual putting in the work and having somebody in that DB room that literally went through the same process the year before, the same valley. I'm speaking about Clarence Lewis and Tariq Bracy. And so Clarence Lewis, Mike Mickens, and some of the other DBs met with the media. And Clarence Lewis was asked about his confidence right now.
The game definitely slowed down, especially like now practicing like the second spring. I could definitely feel like the game definitely slowed down, so I definitely got my confidence up.
And so they also spoke with Cam Hart, who just started running through drills about 2-3 days ago. Cam said he's about 85-90% right now. Looks to be on schedule to be at 100% next month or so. Definitely is going to be ready for fall camp. But he was also asked about the DBs. And this is what he had to say.
I see a young, confident group. They're all pretty hungry to get on the field and have an impact this year. And all of them have been climbing up on the depth chart. And that instills hope in us older guys because we have young guys that we know got our back and they know that we got their back. And they can be leaders as well, no matter how old they are and how great they are.
So there's a lot of talent back there at the cornerback position. Is it unproven? I can rock with that, like if that's what you want to say. But Cam is legit. I think we've seen enough from Cam to say, okay, we know who Cam Hart is.
I mean, he's definitely going to be challenged this year. I think.
Oh, right out the gate.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to have. He's not going to be as relaxed as last year was.
Yeah,
I think they're going to have more. Just challenge to the whole secondary, because I do think that up front, from our linebacking core and our front seven, will be pretty solid. So I think teams will give at least Cam Hart some more action than last year.
Oh, absolutely. And
especially if the other side starts playing better. You know, if Clarence Lewis steps up or whoever fills that role and they play better, of course Cam Hart's going to see some more action, which we will hope.
Yeah, Clarence Lewis pointed out that this is his second spring and the game is starting to slow down. And he also talked about having Al Golden and hearing other information. It's like some coaches tell you what to do, right? But there are some coaches that can like tell you what the right technique is. Like, this is the technique you need to play in this situation and this part of the field. But then there's somebody else that can come in and say, well, you need to play this technique in this situation on this part of the field Because if you look at this, then you would never have to react like this, or it won't cause you to have a negative reaction like this, or a reaction that will put you a step behind. That can break it down even further to get you to say, if you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. Because as parents, we spend our entire lives pouring into our kids right and wrong.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And certain things just don't stick. And then they can go out and hear from somebody else in a different way. And all of a sudden they come back like, oh man, yo.
Like it's like the best advice they've ever heard. You're like, I just told you that, you hot dog head. I just told you that.
Exactly. And so that is the freshness of Al Golden and what he is bringing, not only for some of the coaches, but for most of the coaches on the defensive staff, but what he's bringing to the players. It's like, man, okay, yo, I get it. And now you can go out, you play faster. The concepts, he said, Luke specifically said, what does he love about the defense? He said he loves the man, the bump, the pressures, knowing what's going on everywhere, and knowing why he has to do certain things instead of just saying, man, I'm just lining up and I'm defending my man. No. This is what I need to do. And literally, if I can, this is me talking. Let's just say I'm bump and run. And what I need to do is to make sure that I get him to go to the outside and make sure he can't stack me for at least 5 seconds. Because if I can do this for 5 seconds, that allows the linebackers to do this, or it allows the defensive line to do this. Mm-hmm. And then I'm in my technique and I know what he's going to do. It's like, it's all of that. So just trusting what you're being told and just doing your job because you know it's going to work out for the overall defense. And I hope I explained that to a point where everybody understands. I'm not trying to get too technical, but it's really about understanding the totality of the defense, having more knowledge, which gives you more confidence to go out there and play. And look, this is my question to you and to LL Nation. What position has to be the most competitive position group on a football team? That's an interesting question, bro. Like,
no, it's not. It's definitely the quarterbacks because it's like subversive competition. It's like because it's the worst. It's kind of like, what do they call that? Not an enigma. It's not an irony. It is an irony. It's an irony that the position that really steers the team, you hate to see succeed if it's not you.
Right.
So you're like, in a sense, the biggest enemy of the team if you're not playing.
Yeah.
Like it just like you can't, like you either have to play or you have to rock with it, which makes you as an individual feel like less of a player because you'll never play that way.
Right.
There's only one guy that plays. And then if you are in competition with that guy, you don't win, you just become the biggest hater of the team. Like, in a sense, because it's like I'm going full throttle with you, and then somebody decides that you win. I just can't not go full throttle. Like, how do you just full throttle in that sense? So you just instantly become the biggest hater of the team.
Right.
If it's like both guys are capable, you know what I mean? If both guys can get the job done, and it just messes up team chemistry because you can't avoid it necessarily. Because it's just like, you feel like as important to the team as at that position and what it takes to get it done. So it's just a hard way to kind of be in that position of.
And you know what's crazy, man? There's certain DBs. Notre Dame has a knack, right, of developing defensive backs that get like ridiculed by the fan base, and somehow, some way, they end up in the NFL for like 8 years. And dude, I swear, there were defensive backs back in the 2000s, and you're saying to yourself, like, they got ripped by the Notre Dame fan base. And you look up, and they're on the NFL roster for like 6 to 8 years. And everybody's talking about how sound they are, how fundamental they are. how well they know the game. And it's like, and then you can see all of these guys that were like top-notch defensive backs, and they're getting burned all the time, right out the gate. And you're right, bro. It's such, the position is so, like you said, subversive, dude. And then you have to have the ability to like immediately forget. Like if you're going to carry baggage as an athlete, you can't play that position.
No.
If you're carrying the previous play with you, you gotta go sit down. You have to go sit down, bro. Because it has to be play by play. Play by play. And now certain players that are just elite that probably get bored. You know, your Deion Sanders, Cam Hart's last year was probably boring. You know, as far as action he got, he's going to get plenty of action week 1. Plenty of action. And Tariq Bracy better buckle up because then Jigba's going to be in the slot a lot.
Yeah.
So that's going to be his matchup. And more than likely, Harrison Jr. is going to be the matchup for Cam Hart. It's going to be very
interesting. We can definitely bracket it in Jigba with Brandon Joseph and Bracy.
Well, certain times,
one-on-one.
You might be able to bring BJ down to the slot over him.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Just make it hard for him, give him some traffic to run through.
Yeah.
Or then again, sack CJ. So it's like we can just make that easy.
Man. It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, you know what? We can get this out the way too. Look, Ozzie Mack. Glad you asked this question. Just seen the new tape numbers. OSU 76%, Tennessee 46%, ND 7.9. What's your take on those numbers? I have no tape. I don't know how they came to those numbers. I read the interview he did with on3.com after his Tennessee visit. I spoke to him after his Tennessee visit. Talked about his pictures, talked about the photos he took in the black jersey, joked with him about him wearing sherbet for 3 years. You know, told him what was popping in the pictures he took, laughed it up, kept it moving. I don't know. Everything was all good after the Notre Dame visit. Notre Dame was getting all the buzz after he brought his mom down. Everything was good. He was loving Notre Dame after the Notre Dame visit. He went on the Tennessee visit. Tennessee allegedly has jumped in front of Notre Dame. Allegedly, some other stuff is being said. I only go by what's told to me. I don't deal with what's told to other people. I go by what's told to me. And then what's told to me and what was shown to you guys is something that you have to take up with the person that made the statements. We didn't make the statements. We just asked the questions.
That's right.
That's all we do. We ask the questions. That's all we do.
Yeah, and I just think a lot of times, you know, these numbers, how do you even come up with percentages on that anyway? So, like we always say, if you ain't got the man's number like we do, then what you saying, we can't listen to that. You know, and them numbers was crazy. Like Sid said, them numbers don't even.
Yeah, Sid is right. 76, 46, 8. I'm pretty sure that adds up more than 100.
And that's what these guys sound like talking about where these kids is going. That's what they sound like. That should just be the headline for all these predictions. It's 76, 46, 8. Because that's how much they know about where a kid is going. That's how much informed. Now, if they got their phone number and got them, you know, interviewed twice on a podcast such as this, on the Lucky Lefty podcast, then that's some stuff to go off of. You know, that's not clickbait. That's not TMZ news. That's authentic conversation that you can get a feel from. And my feel from those conversations didn't feel 76% Ohio State. That's my opinion.
And I'll say this because it's something that I've said publicly. It's something I've said in conversations with you, my brother. Conversation we had with him for another 20, 30 minutes after the interview. His goal is to make a decision before his season starts. When he makes that decision, his recruitment isn't over. And I hope that school knows that. If he commits to Notre Dame over the summer, hypothetically, Notre Dame still has work to do. Now, I've said that to multiple people. Not once have I said on this show, any platform, he's going to Notre Dame.
I hope he goes to Notre Dame.
I never said that. Matter of fact, at the end of the last part 2, what did we say? Yo, we built a relationship with you. You become like a little brother to us. And no matter where you go, we got you. That was a conversation. Everybody heard it. So to take and run with what On3 put out after the Tennessee visit, look, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Tennessee hit it out the park. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Had his entire family down there. Tennessee hit it out the park. You keep it a buck. Tennessee's coming from a long way back. Has a lot of ground to make up when it comes to family, when it comes to his heart. Another thing Tennessee has now is a committed quarterback in the class. Notre Dame and Ohio State, they don't have that right now. Another thing Tennessee has is a perceived offensive genius as the head coach. Not as a position coach, the guy that's actually calling the plays. Perceived genius at multiple stops. At Central Florida, now at Tennessee. It makes a difference. You might not like it, but to offensive players, here's one right here. He'll tell you, having a head coach like Brian Kelly, that was an offensive guy, made a difference in his thought process about where he wanted to go in college. So right now, it's like 3-card Malik. One day he wakes up, he's feeling this. The next day he wakes up, he's feeling that about a school. And it's going to continue to do so throughout the entire summer. That's what it's going to be. 3-card Malik. When it comes to his mother, Notre Dame's coming from behind. We know that. He said it on the interview. I reported it on Irish Breakdown. We know what it is. Like that, no one has come out and said, yo, Carnell, Notre Dame's in the league. Nobody said that. Literally what we said and wrote about is that Tommy Rees was left hanging in recruiting Carnell Tate from the beginning. And what he went through just to stay in and the job he did, so that when Marcus Freeman finally got the helm of the program, or was at the helm of the program, now he has somebody that could work with him. And they started to climb back in the race. That's it. That's it. So we don't care what On3 said. We don't. And I respect what Chad Simmons, the national guy, he's been doing this a lot longer than me. The percentages are still off, though. They need to check their math. But other than that, and I don't want to say it's clickbait, because I wasn't on the phone, or I wasn't part of the conversation he had. All I talk about is the conversations that we've had. The only thing we've reported are the conversations that you've had with Dante, my brother. Everybody else has been talking about Dante. All we've said is what your conversations were months ago with the young man. That's it.
That's all we got.
That's it.
Can't report on nothing we don't got.
No, we don't do the whole makeup stuff, create percentages that don't add up. Well, no, for what? We don't do all of that. There's no need. It is what it is. The young man said he's making a decision over the summer. That's it. That's it. Charles Jackasaw said the same thing. I'm making a decision over the summer. Oh my God. This is not good for Notre Dame. Man, relax. No, this is what it do. It's almost like kids aren't allowed to do what they want to do. Like at the end of the day, for whatever reason, and it could be bogus reasons. It could be parents that differ from what they want, think they should go somewhere else, whatever the reason is. The decision still belongs to that young man and his family. That's it. That's it. And if you can't respect that, and that's one of the reasons why I said today, amidst all of this stuff, it's Chicago before anybody else, bro. That's why I said that. I'm like, that was tested. And you know what? It's Chicago before anybody else. I'm not about to get caught up in the rat race. I'm not getting caught up in that, dude. I got too much integrity for that. Thank you, Josh. I just came from him, spent the afternoon with him, took him some Five Guys. He loves the hot dogs. He's doing very well.
Yeah, Five Guys, great place.
Hopefully, man, they say he couldn't be home for Easter. And that's what we're hoping for. So there it is. I'm glad you asked that question. Relax, man. Relax. I can't speak to what somebody else has reported because I didn't hear it. I didn't. I only speak for myself. That's all I can do. You know? And if for some reason he decides not to come to Notre Dame, there's no reason to badmouth the kid. He decided to go. He decided to make. Let me point out something else. When you asked him, and this comes from my conversation, because you listen to people. Remember I said earlier it's important to listen to people? During the interview, you asked him a question about brands that he wants to work with. Right? What did he say? What was the one brand that he said? He was like, everybody wants to work with this brand.
Oh, come on. Look, you put me on it.
No, it was Nike.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to say Nike. I'm like, we're not even Nike, so I didn't want to say
Nike. Look at his top 5. What's the only non-Nike school? And people, like, this matters. Like, people don't, like, this stuff matters. What's the only non-Nike school in his top 5? It's Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame. All of this stuff is part of the conversation. And he openly said it in the interview. He let you know, like, yeah, man, I would love to work with Nike. You don't think people are using that in recruiting? Come on, man. You got to relax. And you have to allow Notre Dame to recruit. It's a battle. We're going after cheerleaders here. We told you that the other day. We're not going after the girl in science class that hardly talks. No. You're going after the cheerleader that everybody wants. So you got to be in it to the end. It's a process.
It's a process. You're absolutely right. and we're gonna get there. And at this point, we're not worried about not getting kids because we're building something where kids want to come to. We're looking to cross that threshold of a dynasty because it goes back to expectations. We're not expecting Marcus Freeman to go in there and have a good time. We're looking for him to establish something of more successful than what we had, which was great what we had last time. So that's going to require building a team that kids want to come to where it's not such a decision. But even with that, we can't get them all. And that's where player development's got to really be established. And this is a good tell for that this year because the team has a lot of guys that need to be coached up.
Yeah.
And we're going to see the biggest transition from that team that we saw at the Fiesta Bowl, which we expect to be way different than the team we see versus Ohio State for many different factors, the quarterback, but also this is the first Marcus Freeman-led team. So we'll really see the impact that he has from the first game because it's going to be a challenge. So you can't really, being dependent on one kid. There's so many kids we got. We talked about Chris Smith. That's the guy I want to talk about. That's 2024. So there's so many more guys that we're dependent on making this class great. But either way, we still looking to finish top 3 at the end of the day.
Yeah. Drunk Vigo. We're going after the cheerleader that has an active social life.
That's right. Look, Jennifer Lopez talks to a lot of people.
She's going facts. And he still just proposed to her in the bathtub.
Yeah, and he been through the fire.
Right.
But look at the success he's got, chasing her.
Good book says be happy with what you have.
Man, listen, I'm not happy with what we have because we deserve better as a program.
And look, we can, we can just go ahead and just leave from Tate. We can go right into Dante Moore. It's the same thing. He gets to do what he wants to do.
Even though Notre Dame,
either you want him or you don't. Either you want him or you don't. And if you're all in, then you have to put up with whatever his time or his timing is. That's it. And if you want to jump off, jump off. I'm telling you, Notre Dame's not doing that. It's crazy. It's like, dude, look. Brian Kelly didn't recruit quarterbacks like this, man. The first quarterback that was like, yeah, I want to come, that's usually over the last couple of years. Yeah. I don't think Notre Dame, I'm pretty positive Notre Dame didn't go after Malachi Nelson. No. This week I saw Emmett Mosley with the USC uniform on, with the sword in the ground.
USC trying to really build it up over there.
You hear what I'm saying? And I'm saying to myself, you know what Marcus Freeman is saying to that picture? So damn what?
Yeah, I like that he's definitely not. You don't feel like he's worried about nobody else.
No, I'm still giving him a call. This is the game. Like you want to be at the big boy table? This is the game, Notre Dame fans. This is why Alabama fans sit back and just run off 5 stars 2 days before signing day and end up at the top class because they know the game when it comes to the best players.
Yeah.
5-star players are not committing 6-7 months before signing day. You might get a couple, but the majority, no, you have to fight well into the summer, well into the fall. You'll see them coming to schools on official visits during game weeks. Look, we got to take a step back. We got to take a step back as people, man, because the anxiety is running through the roof. And it's like, man, don't allow 16, 17-year-olds to pull your strings and play you like puppets. Like once we play something and once I write something, I forget about it until the next opportunity comes up to write about something or until news breaks. And that's it. That's it. Relax. And I'm not about to be sweating dudes. At some point, you get an opportunity to make an impact that's bigger than the game itself. And that's the integrity I choose to operate with.
That's right.
That's just the integrity I choose to operate with. It's not saying anything about anybody else. Because everybody can do what they want to do. But for me, it's just certain things, certain ways, I'm just not rolling. I'm just not rolling, man.
Just not rolling, but that's okay though, man. We going
Coach Mickens. He also
right.
has some good information about CLU this summer.
Clarence is a confident kid. He doesn't overly talk too much, but he's very competitive, and you can just tell the way he goes to work every day, and the way he grinds, and whether it's the weight room or on the field, conditioning, it doesn't matter what it is. He's a competitive kid, so I'm sure he took it personal, and he's back to it again, and that's what we want.
I like to hear that. Super competitive. He took it personal, bro. That's what you want to hear. He should take it personal. He should take it personal to the point that, man, he wants to see Oklahoma State again. Like, man, get that same receiver back on the field so I can go head up with him again. He should have taken it personal. He should take the Fiesta Bowl personal.
Yeah, I mean, going through an experience like that, I mean, you better. I mean, good grief. That's a terrible way to end the season. So as a player, you want to redeem yourself. So I'm glad that coach sees that he wants to be redeemed. But also, he's like he said, it's his second spring. Mm-hmm. And for a guy to feel more comfortable, it really matters, man, because you got to feel comfortable in your space. And when things are moving too fast and it's hard to get settled, you feel like you're all over the place and you do things uncharacteristically. So I think just being young in a moment like that, unfortunately, it happened to him, but we all have those moments of uncomfortability, and you get exposed sometimes. Hopefully, he rebounds better. And the good thing is that he gets a great opportunity against a team that is going to give him all he's asking for. Mm-hmm. So that's a great opportunity also to start the season hot. You can change your whole season up and make people forget about the Fiesta Bowl in the first game of the new season.
Yeah. Yeah. But like you said, I hope they all have their chin straps ready. Because there is no, usually you get that warm-up game, that directional school. Nah, not this year. Nah. This ain't the year.
It's playoff game, first game.
Facts. And Coach Mickens talked about how important it is for his group. He feels like it is the utmost. It is up. Man, let me calm down. It's of the utmost importance that his DBs set the tone in practice. Got that out.
Well, you always want to set the tone. It's just no different than a game, right? You want to start fast, and that's what we love about those opener periods where you might just put the ball down and one play, let's go. So it set the mindset of, hey, we got to start fast in everything we do. So that's the expectation in the room as well, where anytime he wants to put the ball down, we got to go compete, and we want to be the most competitive unit.
He said it right there. They got to be the most competitive unit on the squad. That's the goal, and that's what they've been working on. First snap, every practice. You said, Tom, I told you, the very first practice I went to and attended, after the pro day, scrimmage, first play, Jade Mickey breaks up a pass, screaming, talking trash, setting the tone. And I know how you feel, bro. Like if you're under 200 pounds, all of that. But look,
205.
I would rather see it, see the exuberance, see the excitement, than to just have them dead and not playing with any spirit at all. Like, I'll take it.
Yeah, you definitely want the excitement flowing on the team because it's definitely infectious, especially if it's on a competitive level. I mean, at any point, we're looking for that competitive edge for just 3 more games in the season, because that makes or breaks usually the season for us. However, that's something we also didn't have as much of in previous years. So when coming to if it's broke, change, do something different, this is something different. Now, if it doesn't work, I'm sure Marcus Freeman has a lot of the time to figure it out. But right now, I mean, it doesn't look like it did last year, and that's
Right.
At least we know that's going to give us a different result.
Yeah, I agree. So Cam Hart spoke as well. And he gave his thoughts on how the DBs have looked during the spring.
I see a young, confident group. They're all pretty hungry to get on the field and have an impact this year. And all of them have been climbing up on the depth chart, and that instills hope in us older guys, because we have young guys that we know got our back, and they know that we got their back. And they can be leaders as well, no matter how old they are and how great they are.
That's the second time we played that. He talked about the youngsters, right? Well, one of the main youngsters that's getting the buzz is the aforementioned Jaden Mickey. And Cam Hart says the dude is doing something.
Again, this is a really hungry dude. Like he plays bigger than what he appears to be. He's going to talk a little trash, but he got a little swag to him, and that's what I appreciate most. Like, he's not going to back down from nobody, and he's going to give it his all every rep, and I really appreciate that.
There you go. I tried to tell y'all. I don't know if everybody, it's a lot of reports coming out now, right? A lot of articles talking about Jaden Mickey this week after the cornerback sat down and talked to the media. I've been talking about Jaden Mickey for like a month. Just from watching practice, like, yo, it's a new swag in the DB room that hasn't been there. Cam Hart can play, but Cam Hart is quiet. Cam ain't doing all that talking. That's not even Cam.
No.
You're not getting that. You're not getting that from Tariq. You're not getting no. Jay Mickey bringing a whole new swag. And that's your senior leader right there telling you. That's what I love about him. He's going to talk that trash. He brings a whole new swag, and he's going hard every rep.
Yeah. That's what you want to see.
That's what you want to see. So even if he doesn't play a snap, which would be great, because that means C-Lou, Tariq, and Cam are holding it down, along with Philip Riley and some of the sophomores and juniors, Ryan Barnes. But come next year, you best believe he will be in the mix. Yeah, he'll be in the mix next year. And that's what you want, because I prefer him to have that fire, learn, and be ready to go next year as Cam Hart walks across that stage in Las Vegas or wherever the draft is going to be and shakes the commissioner's hand. That's the best outlook. Him walking across, shaking the commissioner's hand as a first-round pick, and Jaden Mickey coming right behind him saying, yo, I got this. I'm next. And now we start to become another you that we talked about. Not just O-line you, but get that swag as a DB you. I like it. I love it. I love hearing that about the true freshman.
Absolutely. And it's good. Maybe we'll see some more true freshmen. We haven't seen too many true freshmen play at Notre Dame on a consistent level.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be the first one to break that mold for Marcus Freeman here.
Yeah. Um, 24. I don't want to mess up names. Simeon, the school with Malik Elzy, who is still being recruited by Notre Dame, but he isn't the highest priority. And then Loyola Academy has a guy. I just don't want to mess up the names. I'm sorry. I wish I had the list in front of me. But Simeon has two guys. class of 24, that in my opinion, probably will end up being better. We're on Zaire Hill in 23 as a safety, but they have a couple of kids that are sophomores down there. And then there's another kid at Crete Monique, where Niles Morgan came from. He's a junior. That kid is like, they call him Little Treadwell, because that's where Laquan Treadwell came from with Niles Morgan, Crete High School out there. So those are the guys that come to mind. Homewood Flossmoor is another school that usually has really good athletes, but Homewood Flossmoor is usually a feeder school right to Wisconsin with their wide receivers. It is funny. Like, all of their wide receivers go right to Wisconsin. So it's not really defensive line is huge here. There's a kid, you guys can go watch film on Justin Scott. In my opinion, Notre Dame is not on him yet. He is a junior. He is 305 pounds right now, 6'4". Notre Dame's not on him yet. Why? I don't know. He was just given a 5-star by Rivals, if I'm not mistaken, like 3 weeks ago. And he goes to St. Ignatius, I believe, which is a Catholic school in the Chicagoland area.
His name Justin Scott.
Justin Scott, class of 24. And this is the crazy thing. Am I saying his name right? Let's see. I want to make sure I'm saying his name right, man. Yeah. Yes, Justin Scott, St. Ignatius, defensive line. 310 pounds. I'm sorry, I said 6'4". He's 6'5". So on 247, he's a 4-star, and he's a 5-star on 3 in Rivals.
There we go. There's our Jordan Davis.
Mike Elston is already on him.
Who is that?
The guy that went to Michigan.
Mike Jones.
Tennessee is on him now. Tennessee wasn't on him 2 weeks ago. I'm telling you, Tennessee just got on him. Missouri's on him, and Wisconsin's on him. All right, go watch this film. I have no clue why a kid from Chicago, that big, that size, is not on the radar. I don't know.
I don't know. We talk about filling the middle. That's why we do it right there.
I don't know. Yeah, he's 6'5", 305. And the quickness. It's not even the quickness, like to run sideline to sideline and make play. And he's a baby. You're watching sophomore film. That's the crazy thing. You forget that, right? Because he's
a baby.
24. So his film is literally his sophomore year. He's just learning the game. He hasn't really walked into his man strength yet.
That's right.
It's crazy. Crazy. Let's see. Man. Derek, grades on the issue. Come on, man. He goes
man. Don't go down that path.
Grades on the issue. Come on. Notre Dame gets players in that they want to get in. Like, we got to stop acting like everybody on the Notre Dame roster had like a 32 ACT. You know what I'm saying? A 1,500 SAT. It's like, come on, man. Look.
Recently, only our punt returners got that.
Yeah. St. Ignatius is right off Roosevelt Road, which is South Loop, right outside of downtown Chicago. It's right there on Roosevelt Road. It's more west side than anything. Most people that go to St. Ignatius say they go to school on the west side.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, bro. That's that. So I'm happy with the defensive backs and what I'm hearing. I really am. And I know most people Still might have some consternation about Clarence Lewis. Look at how Tariq Bracy recovered. He had a difficult 2020. He recovered last year. And he loves being inside. He knows that's where he's going to be the majority of the time. There are situations that he can get moved to the outside in games. If he needs to spell Cam, if he needs to spell, I think in the Virginia Tech game, he spelled Cam for a couple of series and came out with a big interception against Virginia Tech.
That's right.
So, look, when you have that versatility, you have guys like that, and then you have the guys like Riley Barnes and Mickey coming behind. It's a good group. It's a good group. And then you have versatility of Brandon Joseph, who can play a little corner. He can cover. And then you can have the rest, DJ Brown and Ramon and Xavier Watts on the back end in Houston. So I feel good, bro. I really do. Bryant, yeah. If you watch his film, he's not elusive or anything like that, but I mean, dude, we can make him work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he can make him work. It's the reason why he's a 4-star. Behind this offensive line, we can make it work. We'll make it do what it do.
Do what it do, baby.
Yeah, it's a reason why he got the visit and the invite. There's a reason. So we appreciate you guys for supporting us. Thank you for joining us on the show. And before we get to, thank you for the super chat. Thank you guys. Keep up the good work. Appreciate it. We're gonna keep spinning it different. Man, I shoot information to this dude, and I tell him to shoot it to Coach. Like, yo.
We gotta get on it, man. We gotta get these big suckers in here.
And as MWJR says, man, we appreciate.
Thank you.
Hit the like button. Most people don't hit the like button until after the show. Like we get the likes, you know what I'm saying? But it's usually after the show. You look at the post like, okay, the likes are going up. So that seems to be the tradition. I wanted to show you this because 12. I'm Chicago all day, and 12 years ago, 12 years ago today, I remember the day because I was producing for a show in the South Loop of Chicago, and we got buzzed that something was happening downtown because Meek Mill was in town, right? That's when Meek first just dropped Dreams, and it was going crazy.
Oh,
and Meek, Meek.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Because he had the same rhyme pattern. That's dude. Every song on Meek's first mixtape, like that was his thing. He was same rhyme pattern,
and
but he's killing it.
And it was hard.
When he dropped Dreams, it was over. It was over. But 3 iconic guys on this day got the honor and privilege to open up together. It was so iconic. They opened up together. They weren't a group, but they were 3 artists known in Chicago but unknown nationally. And they opened up for Meek Mill in Chicago at the Congress Theater. And it was the only time that they would ever perform together again. That was Chief Keef, King Louie, and Lil Durk at the Congress Theater. Now, bro, this was the vibe. This was the vibe before Meek even took the stage, bro. Did you see that?
Oh my gosh!
Did you see that?
That's the whole city of Chicago right there, man.
The whole city was out. It was crazy. It was like we didn't know what was going on. We're doing a show that went from 6 to 8 And State Street was just like, we just saw people like coming down State Street like, yo, what's going on? Like, it's not even summertime. You know what I mean? If it was summertime, we'd probably say, whatever. It was April. It was still cold out.
It was the right time.
And the Congress Theater was bananas. It's right there by the studio we were at right there on 6th Street. And, iconic night, man. It was like one of those nights you woke up the next morning or later on that night, you heard what happened. And you were like, yo, I can't believe. It's like the same way people in Chicago get mad because they missed Biggie. You know, the one time he came to Chicago and performed. It was only one time at the House of Blues.
Yeah.
Only one time at the House of Blues in Chicago. Either you were there or you missed it. That's it.
Yeah, true.
It was one of those nights, man. They've never been on the stage and performed together ever again. And all of them were in the infancy of their careers. So shout out to that. Think about those three dudes right there.
Go down in history right there.
That's history, yo. So shout out to Keith, Louis, and Dirk, man, that have grown to be icons and legends. Definitely here in Chicago, and they've become much more acclaimed nationally and all over the world. And I had to bring that up because I specifically remember that night and how it went down in Chicago history, man. I don't know if you ever get another night like that ever.
Right, not for a while.
Yeah, not for a while. You know what time it is.
Petticoat, Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, petty story today, each and every day, right here. Lucky Lefty podcast. So, who goes on Petty Train today? I gotta throw the entire Minnesota Timberwolves on the Petty Train, bro.
Absolutely.
Come on, man. Look, man. Except for, you know what? I'm gonna give an exemption. And this is me and my Chicago bias. It is. I'll keep it 100. I'm going to give an exemption to Patrick Beverly because he didn't get
the ringleader.
Because he didn't get the contract from the Clippers that he wanted. That's the only exemption I give him. And I'll give him that exemption for his exuberance.
Yeah.
But jumping on the scores table and pulling your jersey off and throwing it in the stands, come on, man, that's where it stops.
That's him, though. That's him.
And the rest of the NBA is like laughing and tweeting, like, yo. Charles Barkley is like, man, we can end. They just won the championship. Like,
yeah, it's over. Yeah,
playoffs are over. Minnesota Timberwolves, come on, man. And I hope Jordan Woods is doing a good job of consoling her man. Because that cat, Karl Anthony Towns, was trash last night. He was trash. I'm not saying he's trash. I'm talking about his game. How do you foul out, fam? How do you foul out in a game like that? Explain that to me. I don't get it. You are the number one player.
Yeah, you're not locked in.
Team, and you foul out? I can accept if he had a bad shooting night. I can accept if he just didn't play well. My man fouled
out. You blew it right there. You blew it. What are you doing? But you got Ant, a.k.a. Michael Jordan Jr., Ant Edwards. That's my guy right
there. Yeah, absolutely. Somebody said, put your PC back on the train. Drunk Vigo, what is this, bro? Come on, man. Come on, we can't.
Come on, dog.
That's
doing? Petty.
Yeah, come on, man. What is that? Usually you're all good.
Usually y'all good, but today I don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
We gotta look at you again, Drunk Virgo. of Vigo.
Oh, let's see.
Oh man.
Anybody else for you? I might have to put Mano on that petty train too, though.
Yeah, because what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like that's almost as bad as the video of the dude doing that.
Yeah.
It's just as bad. Just we need to the guy at these days.
Yep. No, we didn't throw you under the petty train, dude. We just asked you what you were doing.
Yeah, what you talking about?
Like, yeah, what is that, man? Sid Irish, no doubt. Arkansas player. Pat Bev, Michael Campbell. We appreciate you, my man. Mel Kiper, I saw that. He dropped Cal Hamilton out of the top 10. This is what I wanted, bro. This is what I wanted him to actually go to a good team. This is wonderful. Please let him keep dropping. Because if he drops to the teams, I know he's going to go to a good spot. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'd much rather have him go to a good team than go to a terrible team and be a top 5 pick. Being a top 5 pick don't mean nothing. You need to go to a situation, I mean, from a money standpoint. But at the end of the day, they all trying to get to the second contract. It doesn't they do. Everybody in the league is trying to get to the second contract.
That's right.
Second contract is where you make your hay, especially if you're a good player. So look, we might want just, for the sake of it being Notre Dame, we might want him to walk across that stage in the first 10 picks. I've always said on this podcast, look, man, I'm all for him slipping.
Yeah.
I'm all for him slipping. Let him slip to 12, 13, 14. Let him slip. Let him slip to that Aaron Donald area of the draft.
There we go. There we go.
Aaron Donald slip?
That's right.
Yeah, let him
look
slip.
At him. Slip right into a championship.
Slip right into a championship. Let him slip. Right? Let him slip to a team that's cool waiting. And where's that T-shirt, man? F them picks. Man, I don't know what that was. Man, anybody else for you, bro?
No, I think we nailed it, man. That's definitely was on my mind, especially the Timberwolves.
Timberwolves have to do better, man. They have to do better. Matter of fact, who is 10 down? Okay. 11 is no. Oh. 13 or 14, bro. I want him to go to 13 or 14. I just looked at 13 or 14.
Here we go.
The Browns or the Ravens. I really want him to go to the Ravens. I want him to go to the Ravens so Ed Reed can be right there like, yeah.
That's good territory for sure.
Yeah, if he goes to the Browns, he's with Deshaun. That's why I like that. And he's with Joker.
Yeah, that's right. He's in a good spot. Great spot.
Yeah, I'm cool with him slipping to 13, 14. I wouldn't mind it at all. I know you would love for him to slip down to the Bengals. I know you would. Oh, you would love it.
See, the Bengals will win too many championships, and that's a competitive division. So he might, if he wants to smoke, go to the AFC North.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, see, why you always throw a little dart at the NFC North, man?
Hey, no, the AFC North's nice.
Oh, you said the AFC. You said the AFC.
Yeah, the AFC. Yeah, the AFC North. Yeah.
Another nasty spot would be because I think somebody trades up for the 10th pick to get him with the Jets. I think the Jets would trade back and somebody comes up to 10 to get him. But still, that's going to be a good team that's coming up to get him. That's the point.
Yeah, he's going to fall to a good team. So,
yeah.
Good luck.
I wish I could. I can't for copyright reasons, but I wish I could play it right now and throw the hooks up.
That's right.
Cowboys could move up for him. All right, bro. So another great show.
Another one.
Thank you guys for tapping in, as always, featuring and brought to you by Onora Whisky at OnoraWhisky.com. It's that premium American whiskey at OnoraWhisky.com. And if you drink, Drink responsibly. We'll be out of here. As always, we tell you guys to spin it different, and we'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the Lucky Lefty